Hello, everyone. This is Yeeflex, and welcome back to another A Producer's Approach video. So, in this video, we're going to be looking at my own song called Lost Without You. And for those that don't know, this is actually the outro credit song that you hear at the end of every, or most of the videos per se. When you have the video selection screen, this is the song that's playing. So, I thought it was pretty fitting because the song plays all the time on this channel that I do kind of a review of my song because this song's been out for at least 4.5 years now. I released it with eccentric on Argofox, and I made a actual sound breakdown video in the past on my main channel. So if you want to see that, it's a little more technical. I will say it's a little bit more boring, but it is up there. So if you want to watch that, you can. But basically, with this song, this was a collaboration I made with eccentric because we had both released on Argofox, the label. I had released with a friend of mine named Maisong, and eccentric released a Complextro song in the year, I don't know, 2018, 2019. And it was very reminiscent to the 2012, 2013, 2014 Complextro, which I hadn't heard in a while. So we were messaging back and forth for a little while, and then we ended up working on this song. And from what I remember, the intro to about the break section after the first chorus, I had a lot of influence on. And then the second chorus was mainly just eccentric going full out with his style, which I was completely okay with, honestly. Like, it turned out for the best, honestly, with this song. But the style we were shooting for with the song was AU5's song Eden. That song had just come out, so we both listened to that song and were really into that style of song. So we wanted to try and recreate that song just in our own style. So this song might be, a bit repetitive hearing it from the outros, but this video might be a little bit longer because I might give a little bit more detail as to this song just because it's my own song. So, anyways, let's get started. All right, so that is halfway through the song Lost Without You. And just listening to the song again brings back some really cool memories. I will say in the intro, when you hear that guitar sound that goes da na 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 na, That's actually a sound that I use quite a bit in my music. It's a synthetic guitar. It's not a real guitar, but it's a guitar like sounding sound that I've been using in my music for quite a while. If you put a certain type of distortion on it, it sounds like a legit electric guitar. And like it sounds like a legit synthetic electric guitar. It's believable that it could be an electric guitar. I've used it in multiple songs in the past, but with a different type of distortion like this song, it's a little bit cleaner than more distorted in terms of electric guitar sound. But that is one thing that plays. The intro, like the bass and the core of the beats, are made by Eccentric. So I added on like my own sounds to be included within those sections, and he did the arrangement because he held the quote unquote master file. Even though we both use the same DAW or digital audio workstation, which is like the software or program you use to make music, he still held the master file. So he was the one kind of in control of the whole collab, which I did not mind. I preferred it that way because I can include my sounds, because my music, to be quite honest, even though I make electronic music, is a little bit different than the mainstay, like kind of like electro beat like this. Like Eccentric was better at making the more traditional electro beat, and I had no clue how to. So in this case, it worked out for the better. And that section occurs, the intro section. You have that little kind of jumpy section after the intro where you have the da na 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 na. That section with my guitar playing is kind of has some effects on it, which is quite nice. Has some like downturning effects and stuff like that. And then the chord section I like quite a bit. I like to include choirs, synthetic choirs in my music, and included the synthetic choir within that chordal breakdown section before the first drop. And the build is very traditional to an electro song. Eccentric did that whole build up transition and did most of the first chorus, which is very much unique to eccentric sounds at this time. I did include a few sounds in there, but mainly the one shots at the end of the phrases where you hear the choir, and a few of the wubs were mine, but most of the sounds were his, which was really nice. And even the percussion was mainly his. One of the kicks that I used was used in the very beginning with the right after the intro when it goes into that like kick section before the chordal section or the pad section. That uses my kick that I use in some of my music, but it's not as good of a kick as his kick, to be quite honest. So overall, really great section of the song. And right now we're getting to the break section. I'll play this section out and stop before the second chorus. So let's get into it. All right, I want to stop it here just because within this section, most of it was written by Eccentric, but the part that I wrote was that lead sound, and that lead sound is basically another synth that I use a lot for lead sounds in my music, lead melodies. But the processing that we put on it was influenced by a song called Nova by Vonic, where in the break section of his song, he has the lead kind of with that distortion and that kind of effect. And Eccentric was able to take my kind of normal synth and use some type of processing to make it pretty close to that song. So that's just something I wanted to highlight before going to the second chorus. And from this point forward, this was all Eccentric. I remember when he sent this portion to me, he was like, "Hey man, I did the Eden drop, which is the halftime drop. And like, I'm sorry, but I like made the whole drop and listen to it and see if you want to include anything." I remember listening to this drop and I was like, dude, this is perfect. I don't want to change anything. This is exactly what I wanted to hear. So we just rolled with it. And that's what this second drop is. So let's hear it. So that is Lost Without You. So basically, that whole second drop was made by Eccentric. I remember back in the day that the second drop or second chorus was completely different. It was way more complextro. But then I remember listening to it and I was like, that's not the feel of what we were going for. So we switched to the Eden type drop. And I think it made this song a lot better because there was a lot more variation between the two chorus sections, which I like quite a bit because you get the more complextro section, like heavy kind of electro section, which is a bit longer than a traditional structure of electro songs. And then you have this halftime drop, which really gives a more melodic feel with complextro elements to it as well. Because you get the halftime part, and then you get the 4/4 beat later on towards the end of the section, and then the song fades out. And the only sound I contributed to the ending of the song was this water sample, this like kind of ambient kind of water sample that I like to include in music because I like ambient kind of more nature like sounds. So I remember finding a water sample, ambient water sample online through one of the free sample kind of websites. And it sounded pretty good. I augmented it a little bit and then sent it to Eccentric, and that's the outro of the song. So it sounds like a person rowing on water. Very naturesque um, aspect to the song, but overall, just a really cool song to make. It was a bucket list thing for me to make because I always like complextro and electro. It's one of my favorite genres because that was the genre that got me into electronic music in the first place. So it was really full circle to actually make a song of this style. Now, grading this song realistically, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. There are a few other songs that I've made in the past, collaborations wise, which I think surpass the song in terms of just memorability and just production and just nostalgia kind of personal feeling to me. But for me, it's a solid like 8.5. It's a pretty good song. There's some aspects, from me being the creator that I kind of wish I would have changed after the fact, but overall, the song's really solid. Like, it's a really great outro song for the end credits scene for, the A Producers Approach channel. And that outro scene is actually made by a friend of mine who used to make videos more often in the past. His name was Very Barry. He made the outro. And when we were creating the outros, I remember Lost Without You was relatively new in my music discography. So I sent this song to him and he cut a part of it. And now every time I think of the outro for A Producer's Approach, I think of this song. Every single time. Every single time I listen to the song too, I think of A Producer's Approach. So it's kind of an interesting full circle thing to be having. But overall, I hope you guys like this video. It's a little bit interesting to be analyzing my own song in the review format, but I think it's a little bit refreshing just because the song is tied to this channel and you, the viewers, have listened to the song. If you watch all the way through the videos to the end credit scenes, then you'll have heard this like short blip of the song multiple times. But overall, I hope you like this video. If you want to see the real kind of more technical but kind of boring breakdown, it's on my main channel. If not, you don't have to. And this was just a good memory for me to do for myself. And it's a good kind of history piece, I guess, for this A Producers Approach channel, just because the song is tied into it. So anyways, I hope you guys like this video. I'll see you guys in the next A Producers Approach video. Have a good one, everyone. Peace.